Well, hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. It is Sunday and we are together. And I've increased the volume output. I had to lower it before, but now it's hopefully nice and loud. Can everybody hear me okay? Good to see everybody. How's the sound? Oh, good. Lovely. All right, so welcome. Thank you for tuning in. This is Sunday Brunch with Whimsy. This is my salon. This is where we hang out. We talk about what's going on in the week. We do a little bit of remote viewing. We talk about the remote viewings that I do. For those people who are just tuning in, I'm a professional empath. A lot of people that watch this show also are professional empaths, or they're in training to become professional empaths. What is a professional empath? A professional empath is somebody who feels the emotions of another person, but is able to stand back objectively without allowing it to personally get into his or her space and analyze those emotions of the person that they've been hired for or people that they're connected with in order to help a person resolve a conflict. We're often used in mediation. If you do decide to become a professional HCRV person, we always recommend getting some counseling training, etc. So that's what we do. It's also an entertainment channel, so we strongly encourage nobody to take anything I say seriously. As you know, I am the Oracle of Whimsy, or that is my alter ego. And so we're here to get you to laugh, have fun. We do talk about serious things like politics, etc. These are my mindfulness meditations. We do teach a class on Tuesdays, which will be opening up again Tuesday. I believe the class is going to start 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. They're open classes, which means you can click on to any class. They're not continuous. This Tuesday, we're going to be talking about the function of the chakras for anybody who would be interested in that lecture Tuesday night. It will be live. It's an open class. As I said, anybody can join it. And anybody can ask questions. So we're going to be talking about how the chakras are sensory perceptors and how we can connect with, open the chakras in order to receive information when we're working with a client. So that's the class for Tuesday. I hope everybody can show up, and I think you're going to like it. Other quick bit of announcement is be sure and share, like, subscribe, and click the bell notification so that you can be notified about future videos like this one. Okay. Now, the next thing I got to do, see, I got it all listed. We've got so much to do today. Usually I run for an hour and then we have a fun after hours show. That's because a lot of y'all, I understand, are working and can only take a limited amount of time off. I get to the meat of the show within an hour. So let you know a little bit about the show. We're going to be doing my remote viewings. That's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes. Then after I complete the remote viewings, we will do a collective reading for the group. And then after that, we're going to do tarot card blitzes. Like I said, that'll go on for about an hour. We'll give gratitude, people that have to take off or want to watch the second hour later. That's absolutely fine. We'll do an after hours show, and that'll just be hanging, talking, and blitzes. I'll stay as long as people want. All right, so the first thing, we want to give gratitude to everybody who was kind enough to take time today and spend it with me. It means a lot to me that you feel a connection with me in this channel and to Mila that you've decided, see, always with the baby, that you decided to spend your brunch with me today. It means a lot, and so I'm very grateful. So the first person here, Ruth Pearl, welcome. Kate, just Kate, happy Sunday to you. Joy Ty is in the house. Douglas, thank you very much for being a moderator. And Greeter TK is here, much appreciated. Hi, Marissa, welcome. Lisa R. Aaron, Hello, Aaron R. is in the house. Joanna Moeller. Noel. Oh, you're cooking. Well, guess what I made for brunch? Last night I made chocolate walnut muffins for brunch. I ate 4 of them last night. And then this morning I made homemade granola, which I can show you guys because I had extra oats, right? You store extra oats, you store extra nuts, cinnamon, etc. You can make granola. So brown sugar, etc. So that's what I have for brunch. Hi, Don. Good to see you. Welcome. Lisa Rivas. Did I say hi to Ruth Pearl yet? Hello. Debbie Brady. Hello. Pure Walker's in the house. Welcome. Filler in. Good friend and a good moderator. Much appreciation. Greeter 2K. I think I've said hi, haven't I? Welcome. Okay, we'll continue to say hi to everybody. Pure Walker's in the house. Welcome. If I haven't said hello. Adventurous Spirit, thank you for moderating. Epiphany of London. Okay, we're going to say hi to everybody as we go along. So, how's everybody doing? Did everybody like the inauguration? Did everybody have a good time? Everybody liked the dresses? Everybody who was worried? I never felt that something spooky was going to happen on the inauguration because when I did the remote views and when I did the tarot blitzes for Biden, his 7th house always showed him safe. I think the concerns for people have to do with what's happening globally, the socioeconomic implications of everything that's going on globally right now. Yeah, it was a beautiful inauguration. Yeah, I agree with you. I also I liked the poetess, Amanda Gorman. I love the way she was dressed. She looked like the African goddess of love, Oshun, the way she was dressed. And I loved her hair being a crown. It was very liberating. But a lot of people felt like they couldn't cry. They couldn't really get into it because we are really still at war. We're at war with a virus. We're at war with extremists. So it's kind of like when Joe Biden and the Democrats got in, it's kind of like D-Day. We know we're going to win the war, but the war's not totally over yet. You know what I mean? Okay. So a little bit about announcements. On Fridays, I'll be going live with Sheila of Celtic Tarot. She is developing a show called The Remote View. Excuse me. And so, yeah, she's asked me to come on the show. Okay, I don't know if I'll be there every week or if we're going to be switching co-hosts. It's her show. A lot of people want to see the co-host maybe rotate around a little bit. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, that's what's going on. Thank you to everybody who told me to clean things and keep it clean. Yes, I've been diagnosed with allergies. I did take my medicine 20 minutes before this broadcast, so the cough should go away. Anyway, so thank you everybody for that. All right, let's get into the remote viewings. Is everybody ready? Boy, oh boy. Did I get busy last night? I went into the remote viewing state and I had a guide, and my guide was my friend Mark, who didn't really expect to be my guide. What happened was I had prepped up to do a remote viewing, and then I had gotten a call from my friend Mark. Mark is my millionaire friend who's like this beautiful hippie spirit, who's also a very successful designer. And we got to talking stock markets and everything because, we're freaked out about the stock market. But anyway, we got to talking, and I had been doing preparatory work for my RV. And so the next thing I knew, I was slipping in. We started talking politics, and I was in that semi-trance state. And he was like, well, what about the federal building in Portland? And I found myself attached to the federal. I'm an empath. We'll attach to anything, right? So then I found myself attached to the federal building. Then, well, what about what's happening in Denver? Whoop, the thought goes there, and the next thing you know, you're in an RV. So I was trying to organize the notes. I tore the page out because I thought this was not one of the pages. So this is what y'all want to see. Can we see what your RV maps look like, Whimsy, Dr. Anderson? Obviously, other remote viewers are much cleaner than I am, but this is where this is where Mark sent me last night. It was a 2-hour RV, by the way, which is why I get more done when I have a guide. I'll be honest with you. I need a guide usually to get it to be more effective. All right, so this was hour 1. This is the second hour. Of RVs, huh? And this is the second hour. Yeah. People are like, oh, holy hell, Dr. Whimsy. What'd you do to us today? So we're just going to go through it. I'm going to try and get through this in 15, 20 minutes. If we have to go past, please forgive me if we don't get to do it. A lot of RV, Blitz is the first hour, because I think this RV is really darn important. All right, so we're going to start with the basics. The first thing is that last night we had quite a bit of protest from people that were protesting against ICE, Homeland Security, etc., in downtown Portland. So now what has happened, the question that came up was, would we continue to see attacks on hard and soft targets? So that was the first thing that I was asked to go in and take a look at. So I went to the federal building. I took a look at some film footage that's going on here in Portland, the ICE area that's being protested. And what it looks like when you go into these targets is that we are still vulnerable. And it looks like the federal government has placed these buildings under high alert. So you can see when I went in as an empath and I sat in the energy, the tension inside the area, I placed myself on high alert. So this is the first thing I found out, is that these buildings, federal buildings, because we're at war with people that, whether they're consciously aware of it or not, are basically working for foreign governments. What's happened is that a lot of people have joined these QAnon cults. They've joined these seditionist groups and have basically pledged allegiance, whether they're consciously aware of it. Some know that they have, to Putin propaganda, but there are also other foreign governments that are using these things in order to create what are proxy armies. Now, that's really the conversation today. That's the summary of all of this. The summary of all of this is proxy armies. Proxy armies. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So the problem, for example, in the Middle East right now has to do with proxy armies. You have Iran supplying military training and military aid in training camps in places like Lebanon. Proxy armies, Hezbollah, they're funded by Iran. And they're basically declaring war on Israel, and they're shooting, they're attacking from the north. So this would be an example of a proxy army. Iran is also, for all intensive purposes, occupying Gaza. They're funding weapons, clothing, military to Hamas. That's another example of a proxy army. What it appears to me as a remote viewer is that Putin has basically planted proxy armies inside the United States in the form of militias. So he's gone into existing structures And he's used people with military training in these militias, etc., and also just regular people on the internet in order to create a proxy army. And so we find ourselves now in a situation where there are people embedded in the United States fighting as seditionists to overthrow and weaken the federal government, because whether they are consciously aware of it or not, they are basically a proxy army for the enemy. So as we continue on with this energy and we follow the energy of the high alert in the abiding state, we find ourselves being pulled to the enemy energy and politics into branches of government. This goes back to what Sheila of Celtic Tarot, I don't think she'll mind me quoting her here. She works in security and she has security training, and she has said this goes very, very deep. And I think what I'm seeing, and I didn't really understand what she meant until I did this remote, but these folks who think that they're patriots and don't realize that they're pawns in this proxy army, some of them have made themselves high up in branches of government, law enforcement. So we have police, military. They've begun, Putin ran a pro-Putin campaign, film footage, petting dogs, etc. So these folks like him. They're marrying wives from the Ukraine that are pro. It's like they've got a whole thing going on to get these people to be as pro-Russian as possible. So that's what this is. We're talking about a proxy army. So they're going into Nancy Pelosi's office and trying to get laptops, et cetera, and get them to Russia because they think Russia, right, is going to save America because, this is how crazy this is. They're all also public sites. So we're talking about the security, the branches of government, public sites being vulnerable, federal buildings, law enforcement being involved, branches of government. And this brings us back to the security risk. There are security risks, obviously, if we have embedded people that are devoted to the Russian cause, that are in training camps, on compounds with five years worth of ration food and 3 years worth of ammo, etc., thinking that they're going to save America by helping Putin to create this seditionist army. This is what we're dealing with. Now, if you scan the grid and you look at it as a remote viewer and you're using just the classic technique and you scan the country to see where vulnerabilities are, the most vulnerable area, when I was asked to scan by my guide, by Mark, is drones. Can y'all see this? Take a look at the map. You're standing back objectively. You're using your chakras as sensory organs. You're observing what the chakras are doing, but your mind is not, your mind is able to observe the emotions objectively. So as I scan the United States map, the most vulnerable area I'm finding is drones. Anybody can buy one. They're not expensive. And they can be weaponized. So it's something that I know some people watch this channel, some people in law enforcement, some people in the government, some scientists, researchers, all kinds of people watch this channel. So it's just something I wanted to get out, that we did the grid, we did the classic. Skies are vulnerable to drones that complicated drone systems that could be packed potentially with weapons, hitting soft and hard targets. That's something we could be potentially seeing, just because it's going to be very hard for the military to control for that. We've got to have stricter laws with the drones going into certain areas. All right, so that's the first part of the remote, we'll go ahead and open it up to the floor to conversation, because this is a salon environment. I encourage people to openly talk. Let's talk about it. What do y'all think? Anybody agree or disagree with the remote? For those people tuning in, we're talking about security risk with proxy armies, people that are anti the federal government, both on the left and by the right. For example, the ICE protest last night, where we got tear gassed. You can go and look at the film footage if you Google Portland Live from last night. That was progressives. And I saw, even Bernie Sanders has said that his community is being, they just want to weaken the federal government and make us not believe in the federal government. So we have people embedded on the left and people embedded on the right. Yeah, Stephanie. Stephanie is saying weaponized drones are a concern. That is the real, thank God. Holly W is saying that DC has blocked them. Yeah, they're forbidden, but the problem is if you fly them low enough, and forbidden or not, if it's war, you're going to do it. And the question is, can some of these drones get in? You can go to YouTube and just Google Portland protest live, and every evening, and somebody is putting up live footage. And they're saying that Antifa is not organized, but if you look at the film footage, I think it could potentially become a concern, not because the progressives, liberals, not because we aren't right. We are, not because I don't believe in the cause. I do believe in the cause, and I am a progressive, but that doesn't mean we don't have a problem with security, manipulation, people coming in, making mischief, trying to infiltrate the left, trying to infiltrate the right. This is a separate subject than whether or not you agree with the politics. Yeah, the agitators infiltrating and also trying to recruit progressives, young progressives who may not totally understand that we've always been nonviolent. And if you're looking at people that are influenced by the freedom marches, Dr. King, etc., it was always supposed to be nonviolent. So this is not in keeping with the tradition of the movement. So young people that need to be educated about the movement, that are easily manipulated, could theoretically join groups like that. Okay, so the second part of the remote, are we ready to move on, or is there something else we need to talk about? Janice Packard had a dream. Ooh. I had a strange dream about drones last night. I don't remember any other dreams I've had about drones. In the dream, I felt I needed to stay out of their view, so I was hiding from various drones. Yeah, that's the feeling. What is that up in the air? Where did that? So we don't have to be scared. We just have to be mindful that that's a problem, that it's a security risk. Yeah. Okay, so the next remote viewing has to do with the future Middle East. I got sent to the Middle East last night. Oh my God. And I found myself in the middle of Jared Kushner working out a deal in the Middle East, focusing on Dubai. Here's the second map I was asked to do. I'll keep showing it. Okay, so it looks like what is emerging here is that you have a financial center in Dubai, and they want Dubai to be neutral. They don't want it to be taken over by religious extremists or any other group. This is the financial center of the Middle East, is the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, etc., Dubai Stock Exchange. And it looks like they're going to create like a krona or a shekel or something like that. That's going to be like the Mideast krona or the Mideast shekel, an MES or an MEK or something like that. And the peace treaty is a business treaty, and Jared Kushner was working on it. It's the one thing that's probably going to keep Jared Kushner from burning in hell forever, right? Is the fact that this actually might work. So you have one of the reasons why the EU hopefully was going to be able to avoid war and conflict and strengthen Europe, which is probably why Putin didn't like it, was because they were all financially invested in one another. So they've been talking about doing the same thing in the Middle East. So Dubai signed a peace treaty with Israel. So now Israel can be part of that international coin. They also signed a peace treaty. They're also signing treaties with Saudi Arabia. So now we have three countries, that's involved in the coin: Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Israel. Qatar was in trouble. They had some problems. They're working them out because Qatar now wants to be part of it. Bahrain is now also opening up communication. They want to be part of the peace treaty and they want to be part of the coin. And we now have Morocco opening up tourism to Israel, etc., because we have a lot of poverty in Morocco and in North Africa, and they also want to be part of the coin. If this happens, and if they can focus on creating global peace, etc., and improving human rights in the area, we could see a strong, united Middle East. I also think they're going to get off oil. This is going to isolate Syria, Iran, and Russia. Now, Russia wants to be in on it too. So Russia's talking about possibly abandoning Iran because they can see a money opportunity here and they want to have their trade open in this area. So if they're an enemy of this system, they're going to have a real hard time with trade. So Russia can see the writing on the wall. And of course, it goes back to the proxy armies and wanting free trade. Syria and Iran could be pressured to try and do deals with China because of this changing economy. So that's what we saw there. Okay, so the next thing I was asked to do was to take a look at Jared and Ivanka personally. Let's go ahead and open the floor, though. I'm sorry, people are saying a lot of stuff. I want to open up the floor before we continue with the remote views. Let's talk about MLRM has a comment. Let's talk about what she has to say here. She says, Jerusalem needs to be neutral, though. It's a creator for all three Arabic religions. Yeah, what I've always predicted, and I was predicting this when I was 18 years old, is that we would have a united states of Israel-Palestine, that we would not have a two-state solution because both sides feel vulnerable to nuclear attack. We don't want to have a Pakistan and India situation with nuclear weapons pointed at each other. What we need is a constitution that will unite the states and make them nuclear-free. And also we need secular marriage because there are a lot of people getting married. We have something like an 18% assimilation rate in Tel Aviv. So the writing is on the wall that we're going to integrate. And so what we need is a constitution to unite the states. And we don't need separate states. We need to unite the states because it's the only way we're going to get peace. And let Jewish people live on the Palestinian side and let Palestinians live on the state. As long as everybody is abiding by the social contract, and strengthening the United States, live and let live. That's what I say. And I agree with you about Jerusalem being neutral. All right. So it looks like when you go into the energy of Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump, and you're seeing her cry at the airport, and you're seeing the separation between her and her pardon the French, pardon the Freudian slip, her husband, her and her father, there's this cold kind of energy moving in. And you can see her, she was crying. Everybody was crying when he had to, do whatever, his goodbyes. I got a strong feeling in that energy that her and Jared had seen mental decline in Donald Trump and may have even testified about possibly Article 25. It's a horrible thing to love your father, know he's mentally ill, and have to have the strength to say, yes, he's not mentally competent. I believe that some kind of statement or private I think that Jared and Ivanka may have interceded and basically would have assisted in Article 25. I believe they're both part of the cabinet, and they both basically came to the conclusion that Donald Trump was mentally incompetent and that they would have supported Article 25. And I think that was part of the source of tears for Ivanka was, she was being accused by her father of turning against her. When you have a senior, whether it's the president of the United States and you love your dad as imperfect as he is, and you have to be the one to testify that you think, I'm sorry, but you're crazy, and I tried to support you, or blah, 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 and you're trying to clean up your own reputation. But I do think it's going to come out in the next 6 months that Jared and Ivanka were questioning his mental health and may have been working on the side he would have been dragged out on Article 25. He was given the honor of resigning. He agreed to play nice. Trump could never admit that he was a loser. Patty Martins, you have asked a very profound question, Patty Martins. Humanity or your father? I think she loves her father, Patty. But you ask a very, very good question. I think that, yeah. Yeah, so I think that that's what's going on. It goes back also to the fact that she was deposed, the fact that she was asked questions, the fact that her father, it's a nightmare. You're trying to do the right thing. I don't know how you would be able to get out of a situation like that. All right, so that was the second remote view. Does anybody have any questions about the second remote view? Well, we don't know what she did, or she didn't have a lot of power. I mean, she couldn't change ICE policy. She couldn't have marched into the ICE. She could tell her father the A, B, and C, but what could she have done, Diane? I mean, I just don't, if you're watching your dad mental decline, I'm just throwing out an argument here. We don't have to agree with me, but I'm just playing devil's advocate. If your dad's the president of the United States and he's marching off into a delusion and he's surrounding himself with a bunch of deluded people, how much power do you really have, I wonder? All right. So are we ready for the next remote view? Okay, so the next remote view, what we're talking about right now is this idea of the future Earth, right? This idea that we are creating a future Earth. We're connecting with the life force of the Earth. We're trying to be aligned with the natural order of the Earth. Thank you, Elizabeth, for that donation. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, so in the meditation I did last night about the natural order, some people say I preach too much. All I do is meditate, and then I come to a belief system based on those meditations, and I share those belief systems with the audience. If you don't agree with the conclusions, hey, I'm not a guru. I'm just a simple person here. But these are just, I'm preaching to myself. If any of it I'm not necessarily preaching to you. But if any of my abiding meditations speak to you, then certainly you're welcome to embrace them. If you disagree, that's why we have a salon. You can agree to disagree. So what this feels like in terms of how the planet looks like right now, how we have messed with the planet, is that human beings have broken the social contract. Human beings have broken the social contract. So it goes back to this idea that's biblical. It's in the Hadith, the Quran, it's in the Torah, this idea of a social contract that human beings are supposed to perfect the world. Human beings are supposed to perfect the world. This is somebody had mentioned the Abrahamic religions. Yes, it's all about the tikkun olam, the fixing of the world. So we broke the contract. In the Buddhist tradition, it's this idea, or if you're talking about the modern Buddhist tradition, it's this idea of being your most authentic, highest self. That's the human revolution. Not trying to be like somebody else, but being your authentic self. So we had a social contract between ourselves and the earth. The mother comes first, and it was broken. We had a social contract between ourselves and other living things, and the contract was broken. An example we gave was the mother cow. There's nothing wrong if you're practicing Vedic farming to take a little milk for you and your family. The problem is that if we don't respect the social contract and respect the mother cow and show her the respect she deserves, then we've gone against the natural order. First, respect the mother, she feeds her child, and then after she feeds her child, with love, gratitude, and respect for the mother, we can take a little milk for ourselves. That's the social contract. So we broke the social contract. And that goes back to why the planet is not in the natural order or the imbalance. If we return back to the social contract, I treat you the way you would want to be treated. And the same goes for the animal kingdom, for the planet. And I treat the planet the way the planet deserves to be treated. And we teach that to our children. That's the tikkun olam. That's the fixing of the world. So that is that remote. So we'll go ahead and open it to the floor now. Let's talk about it. What do you all think about the natural order, the social contract? Hi, Susan Lynn. Good to see you. Hi, Tamara. Rose, good to see you. I like what you just said, Linda, Jill Linda, and I think I'm going to go ahead and pin that. I've never felt like everybody had to be a vegetarian. I mean, I grew up in Oregon and Washington, and I'm very grateful to the hunters because when my mother was trying to raise us as a single mom, we didn't have enough food. So a lot of the hunters felt sorry for my mother, and they would come and they would bring part of the meat that they had hunted, and They literally kept us from starving when we were kids. We were very grateful for whatever they gave us. That's not a violation of the natural order. You're just doing what you have to do to feed your 5-year-old kid who's hungry. Gaia understands that. So it's interesting if we return back to the natural order, what kind of world we would create. So thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Jill Linda, for sharing your question and comment. And I liked what Jill had said. I don't know why she retracted that comment. It was a good comment. You don't have to be 100% vegan, but just getting used to eating a little bit less meat would go a long way. No, Jane, I have not heard about that theory. Yeah, also just being frugal. You can save a lot of money if you just don't waste food, don't overshop. Let's see what I already have. This would be in keeping with the natural order. It would be in keeping with progressive liberal values, but it would also be keeping with being a physical conservative. I mean, the truth of the matter is physical conservatives and progressives share a lot of the same values. Don't waste food. It's bad for the environment. It's bad for the system. Rice and beans, live frugally so that you can build a strong foundation. Also, the reason why being a physical conservative originally, what the original meaning of a physical conservative was that you're a slave to the lender. So if America borrowed too much money, they were then beholden to the values of a foreign country. And so the whole idea of original physical conservatism, as I considered it in the meditation, was to not have any debt so that we would not be vulnerable to taking loans from China, then all of a sudden now they've got a piece of me. So if we are physically conservative, we can diminish our debt, we can diminish our need for foreign involvement. So that's the strong foundation of a physical conservative. And then you strengthen your military, not because you're trying to take over the world, but as another way of protecting and strengthening your government. So that was the original point, and it actually makes a lot of sense. But that's not this party anymore, right? Their spending is through the roof. What's his name? Bush Jr. borrowed so much money from China. A lot of why we're in our current mess is because of Republicans borrowing massive amounts of money from China that we can't pay back right now. And that is in complete conflict with what the original argument was, which actually made sense. If you look at progressives that are frugal, living below their means, minimalist, reducing meat, not wasting anything, they have no problem with these arguments because it's good for the environment. Thank you, Christina Brito. That's very kind. Okay, are we ready to move on to the next remote? I told you there was like 10 of them. Yeah, it's mentioned in the Bible. Yeah. You know who was really big on this? You guys know this stuff, but it's fun to talk about. It was Benjamin Franklin, right? Because he was humiliated. Y'all know what happened to Benjamin Franklin? He loved Britain. He was supposed to be like our ambassador to Britain. So he was publicly humiliated. He was brought before Parliament. He was stripped and degraded. And then after that, he wanted nothing to do with Britain. But that definitely, I think, shaped Benjamin Franklin's feelings about debt and saving money is, whoa, we can never be at the mercy of a foreign government, and not financially either. it was a real possibility that they were going to lose the war and basically be slaves to the people that they had borrowed and received assistance from. Yes, Patty Martins. Good point from Patty Martins. He was, and he had a heck of a lot of fun. He almost had too much fun. Yeah, he had some problems. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the economy. Is everybody ready for the next? Me too, Judy. Me too. Okay, so is everybody ready now for the next remote? This will be the last remote, and then we'll be going into blitzes. Okay. The economic situation right now. The economic situation right now is why I had said we had 2 to 3 weeks before we could see some types of collapsing of the economic structure. Now, Mark, my friend who was guiding me last night, we got into a conversation about the market adjusting, crashing. What he said, so you're talking about a 10% drop. Thank you, Marissa. Thank you for the donation. That's very sweet of you. Yes. Will we see a sharp drop of, I asked him just as somebody who's involved in the market. He was saying we might be safe until March, that if there's going to be an adjustment, it might be in March. When I go into the energy and I look at the global concerns about the socioeconomic situation we're facing, these are some of the things I think about. The first stress on the economy is the plague, right? We're in the middle of a plague. And this is putting pressure on the healthcare systems and infrastructure of major economies, starting with California, which is a fifth of the world's economy. New York has the New York Stock Exchange, has also been heavily hit. Britain has heavily been hit, along with Brexit. So all of those things are weighing on the system of the global economy and also the American economy. So we've taken a hit because of the plague. We've taken a hit because the healthcare system is being stressed out to the max in major states like California that we heavily depend on for taxes and to maintain our infrastructure. The second hit to the economy is the unemployment numbers. The unemployment numbers are as high as they were during the Great Depression. I think they said the unemployment rate now is 33%. 33%. So we have depression numbers in our unemployment. The third hit to the economy is the fact that they couldn't get the vaccine out, which slowed down we had a slowed down rollout, which increases the curve, which is why they're now saying that February could be one of the deadliest months. Again, that's another hit on the economy. Failure of the vaccine rollout. The next hit on our economy has to do with attacks by proxy armies that are pro-Putin or anti-federal government, resulting in extremist or seditious acts. It's the next hit to the economy. Thank you, Douglas. Or Christopher, sorry. You're very kind. Thank you, Christopher. Changes in Europe, we've already talked about, that could lead to global problems, Brexit, instability in Europe, and the global economic ramifications. Transformation in the economy in the Middle East could create a more stable Middle East over time, but we could be seeing stress in Europe for a while. The concern is that all of these factors will lead to a dramatic crash of the infrastructure. The war isn't over. So it's very important for people to realize that even though we have D-Day, right? We have D-Day, woohoo, the Democrats are in charge. we are still at war. We're at war with the virus, and we're at war with these proxy armies. And so for that reason, a lot of people have been saying, it just doesn't feel like it's over yet. It's not over yet. And so we don't want to relax just yet. We want until March, right? My friend talks about March. By March, things will start to stabilize. I also am not too freaked out about, thank you, Lynn. Thanks for the coffee. I love my coffee. I'm drinking my Pete's. I love it. Okay, so all of these things are putting stress on the economy, but if the crash happens, it'll probably happen before March, and then it will begin to stabilize. It's birth. It goes back to what Nina's Corner, if you looked at Nine's Corner, the economy is crashing because it's like labor. We're giving birth to a new economy. And so it's like now we're in hard labor. And so we're seeing a lot of the disruptions. But by March, we have a beautiful baby. We have a brand new economy emerging as the old economy is put aside. Now, the President Biden, feels good to say that, is saying he wants us to get off oil in 5 to 10 years. I think with Elon Musk going to Texas, he's going to be assisting in working with the feds, et cetera, working with the Biden administration. I think they're going to work very hard to try and help Texas transfer its economy, because right now they're an oil steer economy, and oil and steer are both going under. So we have to kind of move them towards the new fuel cell, the new economy. I believe also that Elon Musk and all the other millionaires are probably going to be able to, their goal of clean air in the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah, I think they're going to get there. I think they're going to start installing air filters on buildings, which will also pull the CO2. They've already got the technology. What's exciting about this is that we will be able in our lifetime to smell clean air for the first time, because if you were born in modern times, you've never smelled clean air. The closest that any of us have come to smelling clean air might be at the ocean, right? But the oceans are now struggling too. But now we have that nice oxygen-rich air that's being developed with these new technologies. First put in major cities, which have the worst air, and then hopefully expanding to other areas. It's exciting because, and also converting CO2 with algae that has a high metabolism. So what they're doing is they're taking algae and they're genetically engineering it so that it has a rapid turnaround. And because its respiration is so rapid, it's eating massive amounts of CO2. So they direct the CO2 to these algae that are a high metabolism, and they just consume massive amounts of CO2 and pump out massive amounts of oxygen. And then the byproduct is certain types of fuel sources. Oh, cool. Good for you. You got to smell clean air. Yeah, I grew up on the coast, so I remember that balmy, rich oxygen. Some parts of Hawaii are still like that. Good. I'm glad. Yeah. Texas is moving over. No more steering cattle. People will start selling off their cattle, et cetera, as the prices drop. All right. Did everybody have fun with the remote views? It's a little difficult right now because we're going through the birth pains, right? These are the birth pains, but that's okay because we have a beautiful world. Now, we were talking about evolution last night, my friend and I, and how we are descended from our ancestors who evolved the concept of cooperation, that we are not like other human beings. We are descended from the people that survived. And the people that survived, those people in sub-Saharan Africa, they have something that other humans didn't, and that is this desperate need to survive and thrive and live the good life, to share our goodness, to be empathetic, to care about one another. This is our ancestry. And we have to remind ourselves that antisocial behavior is not the natural order for humans. The natural order for humans is love, cooperation, and working together collectively for the common good. Right. And that's science. That is Darwin's general theory of evolution, and what we know about our ancestors that lived about 200,000 years ago in sub-Saharan Africa. Their cooperation and their ability to develop those skills, that beautiful prefrontal cortex, that is also part of our ancestry. And that makes us pretty gosh darn special and capable of really creating heaven on earth. And we will do it because our ancestors have given us a great gift, the gift of cooperation and the gift of a prefrontal cortex. We can see the consequences of our action. We don't have personality disorders. We're neurotic as hell, right? Modern living can create all kinds of neuroses, but ultimately the fundamental nature of humans is love and cooperation. So we're going to be okay. It's not going to be Armageddon. Let the sociopaths and the people with personality disorders believe in such things, but they are not the people that are deciding the will of the general public. Now, in ancient times, we used to just send them into exile if they were a threat to if they were a threat to the oasis. Today, there's facilities, there's ways to help them. They are not the norm, and they're not where we're headed. Okay, I hope everybody enjoyed the remote views. We're going to do a collective now. If you haven't done so yet, be sure and share, like, subscribe, and click the bell notification if you have to take off. We're going to now go ahead and do the collective. I'm going to do a reading for the whole group, and then after that, we're going to do some blitzes. Sound good? All right, let's do it. We use the Radiance deck today. All right, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journey to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, for the future, for the planet, for the people we love, but also to help those we have strife with. And together we say, Amen. Let's go in. Ooh, nice rainy day out there. Thank you. Where we are at right now, we're starting a new beginning. It's the beginning of the road. If you look at the traditional meaning of the Page of Wands, it's the Pioneer's card. I like the staff too. It's a kind of a phallic symbol. It has that yang energy. He's off to start a new adventure. It often can be the springtime. You can see those nice spring leaves are coming up. This is the beginning of the adventure. This is the great adventure. We are awakened to the great adventure. Looks like very active spring for everybody. We are still in it. You can look at the karma card here. We still have issues, codependent relationships, dealing collectively with the political issues right now. Could also be a card of personal challenges. Maybe we're eating too many edibles, whether it's too many muffins or whatever. It can sometimes, look, I'm addicted to sugar. I might as well just come out and say, I've been eating so much sugar. But that's the kind of energy moving in. We're struggling with our own temptations. I think what happened for a lot of people is we did a lot of great spiritual work during the pandemic, but we also spent a lot of time eating. And drinking is up in the United States as well. And I think that just goes back to boredom, temptation, etc. And also, good point, Patty Martin makes, which is to some extent, there was a feeling that, we're dealing with the trauma of everything that happened in 2020. The first card for us where we're at right now has to do with leadership. We're in a position in our lives right now where we're really beginning to take a leadership position. We are no longer helpless. Thank you, Tessa Painter. We're no longer helpless, and we enter into a leadership. So there's a feeling that we are capable of handling whatever is coming our way. Also, we're entering into the time of mastery. You are the leader. You are the master of your life. You are putting your best self forward. You are expressing your best self, because the mastery card is crossing leadership. So for many of us, this is a time in our life when we are being asked to lead, and we are asked to be meticulous. It's not just about being about your business. It's about really working hard to make sure every aspect of your life, your business, your career, etc., is well honed and perfected, because you are entering into a time when others will rely on you for leadership. What is above you? You will be peaceful in your garden. You're entering into a time of security. This is the future Earth. That's why people that get into these Armageddon modes where, oh my God, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. I just don't see that. Nine of Pentacles is about abundance. It's about, it's like the Garden of Eden. It's a security card. Again, it goes back to the social order. When you understand the social order, live and let live, respect others, do your best, etc., there's this aligning with the natural order that makes life very, very much easier than it was in the past. But we're sitting in the green economy. This is my green capitalism card. And it goes back to this concept of the green economy, which is that the mother, when you're a mother, when you have the love of a mother, you want to just keep giving birth, keep nursing your babies. You just want to, you're like the baby cow. You're like the mama cow. You just want to keep loving and giving milk and loving and giving milk. The destiny of the earth is to expand her love into the infinite. And so we work alongside her, tending her garden, loving mama, and then sharing her goodness with the universe. It's limitless. Thank you, Christy Price. What we sit in the past, Gaia. She is the source of all life. As long as the mother comes first, as long as the earth is fed and nurtured and loved and listened to, we don't have to worry about poverty. We don't have to worry about anything. We have to be very careful about false teachings, too much alcohol consumption, blood sugar dysregulation, diabetes, too much use of recreational drugs. We're entering into the moon card. That can be lunatic, spinning off into strange ideas, not being grounded, not getting enough protein, your blood sugar all over the place. Too much alcohol can cause lunatic, prescription drugs, too much marijuana. Those are the things that can cause us spacey. This is also my hypoglycemia card, because last night, for example, my blood pressure and blood sugar dropped too low because I was working. I didn't have dinner. So I had that spacey. I had to stop and make myself something to eat. That feeling is what I associate with the moon card. I'm not a drinker. I don't particularly care for alcohol, but I was hanging out with a friend and she bought me a drink when I was on vacation, and I drank like a quarter of a tequila sunrise, I think it was. And I was like, woo! She had to help me get back onto the cruise ship. We were cruising in Greece. So that kind of energy, like, whoa, I'm feeling, so this is why people drink. That's the moon card. But then you crash from the sugar and you're like, I feel horrible. Again, that's like the moon energy. The world is our oyster, 10 of Cups, sitting in the 7th house. We can, creating the beautiful world with our family. Again, As long as the person understands the natural order and sits in the natural order, they understand that the world is limitless. We don't have to declare war on the mother because she's on our side, but she has to come first. Her needs come first. The opposition to us or the conflict, torn between two lovers, trying to earn a living, trying to deal with our own economic concerns, our own social concerns, our own relationships, constantly feeling like we have to compromise our values in order to succeed with others. The hope and the fear for this community, the Ice King, cruelty, boundaries, harshness, a lack of compassion, ice. The final outcome for this group, we will celebrate in the garden, 3 of Cups. As long as we continue to be about our business, as long as we align ourselves with the natural order, as long as we are connected to Gaia's abundance and are doing everything in our power not to obstruct her, but to support it, we will continue to dance in the garden. And that is the final outcome. And this was the crown. And this is the influence, Gaia. Any questions about the collective? All right. I need a lot of carbs personally. I need a lot of protein, but I also need a lot of carbs because I use a lot of brain cells. And then after I do a remote view, I did one for 2 hours. I ate 4. I ate 4 chocolate brownies. Thank you, Tamara Rose. It's very kind of you. Just because I burn a lot of carbs. It's like, your brain is going at a really rapid rate when you're doing this kind of work. Thank you, Maria Ogo. Thank you for that. So I'm ready to do blitzes. I know we've reached the end of the hour. If you have to take off, I totally get it. If you're still trying to get in for a reading, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com. Before you take off, if you do have to go, be sure and share, like, subscribe, and push the bell notification. Okay, so now we're going to do some blitzes and an after-hour show. Woohoo! Does this mean I get to let my hair down? All right, now the fun starts. I love the second hour. The ruffians take off after the first hour. The second hour, it's just all the wild and wicked kids. Mom, can we open the refrigerator and see what you got? Sure. You got vodka? I do have vodka. I use it for my tinctures. You can make yourselves a nice drink. Monday, I'm going to be working again with Lynn Tarot, if we can make it happen. Lynn Tarot readings. And in my mind, I fantasize that she's going to have anybody checked out Lynn Tarot reading? She's a former bartender, but I just see her in heaven in some heavenly bar, mixing drinks, making ambrosia, and just being her beautiful self, right? It's kind of like, is vodka good for I don't know. I would think not. Isn't it made from potatoes? Yes, this is when we give a quick potty break. Very good. We talk for a couple minutes, let people use the restroom or take off, and then we'll go into the blitzes. Thank you, Marie Wells. I could do AOC, sure. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start the blitzes. I think everybody that needed to take off is taken off. Everybody's going to be here is going to be leaving. The first thing I want to talk about, which is freaking me out, is Charles Flynn. what the heck is the story with Charles Flynn? What the heck happened? Does anybody have an opinion about this? I mean, I couldn't figure out if he was just scared to move because he didn't know what the president wanted to do, or if he was somehow involved with the attempted overthrow. I mean, this whole thing is insane. I don't think people realize how crazy this is. Oh, thank you, 87 Da Vinci. Yes, I'll ask about that. I just think it's so bizarre. So the first thing I want to do is check on Charles Flynn and see if Charles Flynn was in on the coup. What's going to happen to him? Yeah, he's a 3-star general. So we're going to check on Charles Flynn first. Charles Flynn. Okay. He was confused for sure. His base card is the 2 of Pentacles. So that's juggling back and forth. A desire to be victorious. He wanted to be victorious. There's a 6 of Wands there as the base of the matter. Excuse me. I think this is looking like potentially torn between 2 loyalties, because if your karma card is he wants to be successful in battle, but look at this, he's torn between 2. Here's the weird thing about Donald Trump. He basically declared war against the federal government, and he declared war against the GOP. And so you wind up in a situation, if this is your president, where you honestly don't know where you want to go. His first house, walking away, he could retire early. His crossing card, somebody in leadership is over him, possibly pressuring him to retire. His 4th house, he's heartbroken. This is somebody who honestly, I believe, may have been compromised or pulled to the wrong side and has dual loyalties. 3 of Swords can be dual loyalties, particularly if you're talking about this as your base card. What he's sitting in, he feels trapped, or that he placed himself in a situation he can't get out of. This is his 3rd house. His past placement, this is Trump. It's also the military card. And then his near future, he's changed. Look at that. Look at his loyalties. This is the energy coming in. He's torn between 2 loyalties. Also action, past, reaction. So that's got to be Trump. He wanted to be loyal to the President of the United States. Unfortunately, the President of the United States is an enemy of the United States. So here we go in this situation between these two conflicts. He wants to start a new beginning, probably around spring. What is around him? His opposition. His opposition has a ton of information probably against him, because that's a treasure trove or an abundance of information. The hope and the fear, what he has lost. The final outcome for Charles Flynn, he will be asked to leave, sever, and also to tell the truth. The clarification for him, he's in the clouds. It's almost like he was in a cult like everybody else. His opposition, torn between 2 lovers. The hope and the fear, the contract. Testifying, possibly. Final outcome, 3 of Wands, the wish card. He will cooperate with an investigation. He might be given an honorary discharge or retire early. He was definitely involved with things which were against the against the government, and it had to do with dual loyalties that left him confused. And you can see here again dual loyalties in the 8th house. I understand that he was got duped. This is almost like somebody who's been slowly compromised and taken over to the other side and then winds up completely confused and doesn't know how it happened. Great, you don't get how it happened. You don't understand how the slippery slope, but the bottom line is that this person probably is going to be resigning in the next couple of months, particularly since the 7th house is a because the 7th house of this reading is, you know, when you look at this guy's card chart, he's got a new beginning here, but look at where he's at. Complete. It's like this guy got slowly compromised and sucked in and seduced. And by the time he realized what was happening, it was too late. It would be cool for people to go back and look at the remote view I did of Putin, where what Putin wants. We shot that about 2-3 years ago so that people can find out what motivates Putin. I don't know if I see court-martial here, but these dual loyalties, the fact that 3 of Pentacles is moving into his 9th house, the fact that his opposition, the people investigating him, are showing cards like an Empress, Lover, that there's this awareness that his interests are elsewhere. I think he would be given the honor of an early retirement so long as he cooperates with some ongoing investigation. I don't know if necessarily with those cards I see prison, you know, but the fact that there's a 3 of Wands there and the 7 of Cups, God, he's just completely confused. This guy doesn't have a clue. It's almost like it's the slowly getting seduced. And they're still calling it the Russia hoax. Of course, it's not the Russia hoax because we're in a full-blown war right now with proxy armies attacking, you know, the capital, etc. So what they're saying and what's actually happening, it's a lot worse than what they're saying in that respect. Okay, so the next question had to do with AOC. Any questions up to this point? That is true. They are trying to cover it up. Right. He's the chief of the army, the president. So that I can understand. Look, I would have been sucked in because I'm an empath and I'm easily, I'm working on it. But one of the reasons I live like this is because I can be easily manipulated. Oh, you need money? Okay. You know, like I used to be like that. I'm better now, but yeah, right, Whimsy. Well, I try. Okay, let's look at AOC. I still give everything away. I'm trying. I'm doing better. Okay, AOC. That's right. Hi, Michelle Taylor. Good to see you here. Thanks for coming. AOC. She is working with a lot of very strong people in order she feels that she has a lot of support now that she didn't have before. You can see the three amigas, and also 10 of Pentacles. So this is one's inheritance, but there is an aspect of gossip to this card, gossiping, spying, etc. I think that she is starting to feel safe in the sense that I think she feels that she has more support and protection than she had up to this point. This is showing her getting protected, to be quite honest with you. She's in a strong position. I feel like she's really being safe. She's very active on the New Deal. Look at that. The New Deal is right over her, the green capitalism. What is above her? The 10 of Cups. She can see the beautiful world that they're creating. Look at that. She's enlightening. She's enlightened about it. What she's sitting in, she knows they will win. She sits in the Ace of Swords. She knows that their cause is just. Winning is inevitable. What they come out of, she refused to compromise. She refused to go along with it. She knew it was bad from the beginning. She wants nothing to do with the patriots and those folks. No, not my religion. Her near future, she stands as the Queen of Wands. So she's emerging as like the future Nancy Pelosi. Her future is that she will probably run Congress. She'll probably be lead Congress in the coming years. She's positioning herself that way. Because action, reaction, because she refused to change, and it leads her towards, she becomes the female leader. She could have Nancy Pelosi's job in a couple of years. She's not ready yet because she's still young. She's still learning the ropes. But it would not surprise me if Nancy Pelosi was training her and other women to eventually take her job. Because everything comes to an end, including Nancy Pelosi. She's going to be gone in 2 years, so she has to pick a replacement or make a recommendation for a replacement. It's very likely that AOC is going to wind up on the list. She's very concerned about getting things in and out of the country, safe borders, right? She's watching the borders. This girl is smart. She's starting to watch trade, international bribing. She's going to talk more about this, money from overseas. She's starting to look at foreign stuff now. Her hope and her fear, the nation's ability to put this behind them, and also Lady Justice, the final outcome, victorious, and the new economy. She will herald the new entrepreneurship, the new economy. You can see the Ace of Wands here as the final outcome with a base of 3 of Cups. She's going to get what she wants because it's to the best interest of the entire planet. Everyone wants the good life. Who doesn't want to breathe clean air? Clarification for her is, again, the world, she's looking to the world. Her opposition is over. It was a personality disorder. It wasn't the personality disorders are in conflict with the natural order. It falls apart. The hope and the fear, bringing love, compassion back to the world. And then the final outcome, the truth will be spoken. Also spies, the information will come out. As this progresses over the coming months, she and Congress, the president, etc., which has been transparent so far and will continue to be transparent as the sun begins to shine in the springtime, opening up new opportunities. The truth will also come out with this administration about how close we came to literally being taken out by a foreign government. I also think that the VP Kamala Harris is very important in the future. And I want to throw on this because Kamala Harris has a very good relationship with the FBI. She was AG for California. I see her putting a lot of lunches on her calendar. Thank you, Holly. It's awfully sweet of you. All right, so the question has come up about the future of Kamala Harris, and we're going to go ahead and do her next. I think that, like I said, the first thing she's going to be doing is she's going to be setting up lunches. So those are like lunches with Christopher Wray. Now, you're empath. Some of you are in training. Michelle, for example, Taylor is training to be a professional empath. So for those people who are empaths, they're sensitive, imagine you're Christopher Wray and you're the head of the FBI. This was an experiment I did last night when I was doing the the guided RV work last night. And you've just been told that the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, would like to have lunch with you. How scared would you be? I mean, even if you're doing everything right, the fact that he was hired by the former administration, the fact that he was trying to do his job while simultaneously dealing with the former administration, excuse me, puts Christopher Wray in a really bad situation. So as I sat in Christopher Wray's energy across the table from the VP trying to eat my chicken salad or whatever, I was pretty damn scared. This is a meeting that has to happen. This is a meeting that probably already has happened, some version of that. And it also puts you in the situation of Vice President Harris, because she needs information about what's been going on. It's very casual. She's being friendly. You're both eating your turkey sandwich or whatever, but you're both taking notes. She's friendly. She's nice, but she wants to know who's who and when you spoke to so-and-so and what was the decision made. And that is the scary between Christopher Wray and Kamala Harris. Can everybody see that? She has to make her recommendations for future people that are going to be employed by this administration. And you can be sure that President Biden is taking her recommendations very seriously. So she's the former acting AG of California. Of course, she's going to be looking at the federal government security. Of course, she's going to be taking those meetings. Of course, she's going to be having those lunches. We all see this, right? So that's why I want to throw on the Kamala Harris's future. And I also want to check on Christopher Wray to see how she's going to maneuver that. If she sees something that's deeply disturbing, yes, I think it could influence the president to fire Christopher Wray or ask for his resignation. So that's where we're at. That is the main thing that I feel Kamala Harris is working on, and in addition to all the other stuff. So she's also looking at our security leaks. So let's go ahead now, and we're going to take a look at Kamala Harris's future. And I also want to take a look at Christopher Wray. Sound good? Yeah. Mike Pence used to have those lunches, right? John Kelly. But you got fired sometimes after that lunch, right? Or they were basically asking you to resign at that. I mean, I don't think she has that kind of power, but she certainly has the power. She's been given the power because of her position and because of who she is. And for all intents and purposes, she was the FBI placed in that position to oversee the FBI, to work with the AG, etc. She has a very important position beyond just being the VP. She's got to vet these people now. Let's go in. Yeah. That's right, Foggy Ozark. They know who she is. Yes. It's terrifying. Imagine sitting across from her and her looking at you, and she can tell when she's studied, she's trained to know if you're lying. She is a lie detector. So you need to tell her the truth. And she's taking notes. How do you like your salad? Is it good salad? And you said that you had met with him on Tuesday. Do I need a lawyer? When I talked to Kamala Harris, this is how I feel as Christopher Wray. You're asking me about a meeting I had Tuesday prior to and you're taking down notes. I mean, I thought this was going to be a casual lunch, man. Do I need a lawyer? What's happening? It's like, it's a really spooky feeling for me. But she has to do it. It's her job. I wouldn't want to be sitting across that table. Pierre Walker writes, bring antacids to the power lunch. Amen. Order something light. I'd order soup. When I go to power lunches, that's something I do is I won't order a salad. Sometimes I do, but if I'm nervous, it's just soup and half a sandwich or something, because it has to be something I sip. I've been that scared before at a meeting like that. He thinks his career is over. He's eyeing opportunities. He's thinking of going back to where he came from. He's expecting the worst possible outcome from these lunches he's having with the vice president. He's expecting the worst. Okay, just fire me. I get where you're at. You're saying that even I am under investigation. You think I don't know why we're having, okay, fine. So fire me, put me under investigation, whatever. My days are limited. Thinking about his opportunities somewhere else. If you're Kamala Harris, you want the guy to calm down. I'm not accusing you of anything, but this is my job. We have to have this lunch. We have to have this conversation. But there is that freaky energy going on here. She wants to fire him. She will ask for his resignation. She has permission. The president wants her to fire him. Anybody see this who's a reader? That surprises me because I didn't think Christopher Wray was doing that bad of a job, was he? She wants him gone. She's giving him the honor to resign. It's horrifying. I mean, to be in a situation like that, he got hired under Trump. Now he's got to have this power lunch. Now these notes are being taken. Not only that, but she wants to see additional stuff about this guy. And I think her recommendation is going to be that he has to leave. Yeah, the feds are coming in. You can see the Knight of Swords moving in. They're cleaning house. She's cleaning house. This is her fourth house. This is a raid. The raids are coming. Y'all see that? What Kamala Harris is sitting in, same as the president, no mercy. Remember when we had done a remote last week and we had done some tarot readings on Vice President Biden, and we saw in the throw that Biden had said that he had zero tolerance for racist. He's the most loving guy in the world, but if you're a bigot, you're gone. And then he turned around and started firing a bunch of people that were part of the former administration. It's zero tolerance, this administration. There's no slippery slope here. This is the new green economy. You've got 10 years to get your act together, Texas. It's all over now. We're in the middle of the birth pains. Yes, you will fight and scream and fight, but you've lost. You've already lost. This is D-Day. The war isn't over yet. Right? The war isn't over yet, but we're going to win because we got D-Day. So I think that they're going to be very bold. I think that they're going to get what they want. I mean, the Democrats are going to push forward. They're going to hear the concerns of the Republicans, but in the end, zero tolerance. They're going for it. It's a new day in Washington. She's basically been told to clean house by April. Does everybody see that? You can see the raids, the aggressive movement coming in the fourth house for Kamala Harris, and you can see the new beginning. And we have this be our spring card. We can see that she's been given carte blanche, right? Any questions up to this point? No, there's nothing personal about this, Michelle. This person, Joe Biden, his teachers and elders are the elders in the African-American churches, a lot of the women of the churches. They're his elders. They're his teachers. They're the people that have guided President Biden. And I feel that they have taught him well, and I feel that they have guided him well. But I believe that this administration really belongs to those women elders mostly, some male elders also. And I believe that he understands that they are his elders and teachers, and I believe that they are guiding him well. But no, they have zero tolerance for this. You can see it. Yeah, clean house. She wants the house cleaned by April. Spring cleaning. Right? Come on, she's a child of Howard University. You know how strict they used to be at Howard? Hopefully they're not as strict as they used to be. They used to have the strictest social ethics codes. They probably still do. You can't do whatever you like if you go to some place like Howard. So it's all about the social code. It's all about the social contract. It's all about making the world a better place than you found it. The whole function of getting the education is the perfection of the world. She's eyeing also our international relationships. So she's very aware of what's happening abroad. She's very aware of foreign influence. Yeah, the world, the eighth house. Her hope and fear, the confusion, the gaslighting, the fact that they're basically having to dismantle a cult, right? The lunatic energy, howling at the moon, confused. The hope and the fear is the moon. And then the final outcome, Ace of Pentacles. So the new economy being rolled over, which is also, it's the new American economy. And then strength is the clarification. I want to throw on Christopher Wray, but he comes up in her chart as basically being asked to resign. It's not like he gives a bad interview. It's just that he's a security risk. There's no hard feelings here, but he's just, his loyalty, you can't help but question the guy's loyalties. And I think that it's one of those gray areas where he's probably fine, but they want to hire their own people with their own security vetting. And I think that that's basically Kamala Harris. She may have been picking up a little dishonesty. Now that's what you thought he said, or that's There may be a little bit of that, but not enough to warrant a full-blown investigation. But, well, there is that Knight of Swords coming in the fourth house. So the point is that Kamala Harris is the person that smiles, knows precisely when you're lying, and a lot of people are going to be gone. She's having a lot of lunches, and this whole entire house is going to be cleaned up, spring cleaning by spring. They want a whole new group of people there, and they're going to get it. I see Sally Yates coming back in a big way. Questions about the Kamala Harris? Yeah, but also the world card is there, so they're very aware of, and they've got money cards there and money loyalty. I think it's very obvious when you look at Kamala Harris's cards that I would be terrified, even if I had done nothing wrong. That can't be fun for the people that have to go through this, but but she has to do it. It's necessary. So I just I do want to have it as a separate question, though, because I do feel like, with Christopher Wray, you have a whole other group of, that tarot reading might open itself up to a whole other group of, a whole other branch of information. So I think he deserves his own throw. This is fun today. I don't feel like I'm rushing because I was going to go and pick up my mail, but it's too rainy. So just hang out and do blitzes until until we're all bored. There's almost 1,200 of us here, so no need to leave anytime soon. Lauren Bobert, yes. All right, let's look at Christopher Wray. Thank you, Raven Rose 13. Always love the coffee. Coffee, muffins, all that good stuff. Christopher Wray, taxes. I am in the highest tax bracket in the United States. And I don't mind paying them because it's all going to the green economy now. I'm a doctor, sole proprietor. They're like, oh, we want to get that money back. We loaned you a lot of money. We know you are not going to pay all those loans back, so we're going to take a little extra from your taxes. It's like, it's cool. Go ahead. All right, Christopher Wray. You guys are so sympathetic and empathetic, this population of people, that when I describe my remotes, the rest of you start to feel them so bad. Like a lot of the time, oh, let's move on. Like if I describe the feeling of being Christopher Wray sitting across, it's like everybody here is so empathetic. They're like, oh no, can we move on? I don't want to be Christopher Wray. I need my antacids. Thank you, Mojo. Okay. It's a new beginning. Okay, so, oh, thank you, Michelle Taylor. You're my soul sister, too. Trying to get to slew their waters. It's a new beginning. It's a new beginning for the FBI. You can see an Ace of Wands moving in. So the FBI is doing an overhaul, which doesn't have which is separate from investigations into who's who, but looks like they're overhauling. He's defending himself. Look at that. Multiple allegations about incompetence. Seven of Wands moving in for Christopher Wray. Yeah, she wants him gone. This is him in relationship to Kamala Harris and the vetting she's supposed to be doing. He has to justify everything. Look, if he had done it differently, he would have been fired by the president. The guy's between a rock and a hard place, but who the hell wants to be in 701s? That's to defend against multiple attacks. What can you, ugh. The thing with these kinds of crazy people is that you go to jail, but they don't. Look at this. Ace of Cups. Or, Page of Cups. Thank you, Maxine Rizzola. That's extremely generous of you, and I do appreciate it. That's awfully lovey-dovey. Really? He didn't ask you to do anything privately? You want another cup of tea? Can you get another cup of tea? He didn't ask you to do anything privately? Come on. Not even once? He didn't ask you to use FBI resources in order to investigate his enemies? That's a necessary conversation because it means the FBI has been compromised, right? So I'm going to let you answer that question one more time. Want another sandwich? It's over. The stopgap sits in the 4th house, the 3rd house. Who have you been doing dealings with? Who have you been working with? Who are your contacts? Who did you share the information with? At what point did the president tell you to do ABC? At what point were you cutting? Who authorized you to shut down that investigation? Because the investigation, as I recall, was open and so was doing this. Who called back those agents that were part of that investigation? I think we need to have another lunch because it just looks to me like we're not going to get through everything with just one lunch. What are you doing next Tuesday? I think I invite the president and some of the staff from security to that lunch. Got a lot more questions. You see where we're headed? He's screwed. Look at this. His 6th house and his 4th, the energy coming in. Oh my God. Oh my God. He is the FBI, right? What's the card for the FBI that I use? The Queen of Pentacles, right? His opposition. You know, they were in a situation where they literally had no control over what was going on. Hopes and fears, Ace of Swords, and his final outcome, he's going to have to hand everything over. Oh, my Lord. Temperance, sobriety, a judgment from the FBI. He's gone. Victory, final outcome of the world. I don't know who's going to replace him, but he's gone. I can't see him making it past spring of 2021. I tell you, I love Kamala Harris, but damn, that woman scares the hell out of me being in his shoes. You can't breathe when you're in an environment like that. Thank you, Super Queen Bee. I don't want Tums, I want coffee. Coffee, 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 coffee. Yeah, that was a good question. Y'all like me pinning them for people? Makes it a little easier, right? All right, so the next question was Alexei Navalny's future. What do y'all think about that? Yep. Mm-hmm. So there has been some conversations about, to what extent have foreign governments attempted to build proxy armies in order to weaken the United States? And then you have the same thing happen, accusations like economic hitmans, people that are attempting to overthrow the governments of Eastern Europe, like our people are doing the same thing. Americans are also American CIA, et cetera, attempting to overthrow governments abroad, bringing in democracy movements. This is one of the reasons why Putin hates Soros, because Soros has been funding the democracy movement. It's his cash. So that threatens the stability of Russia and Russia's attempts to get into certain areas like Hungary, et cetera. So you have to make George Soros a villain, right? Because he's done a lot of damage in terms of creating an instability for Putin in these areas. So let's take a look at the future of Alex Navalny. Sound good? This is good readings today, isn't it? Isn't it fun today? I just feel good. Oh, really, bugs? I don't know. They eat up about a third of my income, at least. It's okay. Navalny. Navalny's future, dang, I don't know, man. He's been, what, have they poisoned him twice? He could be potentially harmed in prison. Unfortunately, I don't think he's safe. He was communicating with the West, and he was getting assistance possibly from the West. This is my West card. As you can see, he's looking at the globe, and he's facing a westerly direction. That's also the Pacific coast if you're trying to get a direction on a move. So he was karmically trying to get help from the West in order to create, because democracy had died and rightly so. He wanted democracy back for his country, but unfortunately, you can see the Ten of Swords moving in. It's going to take more than one person. Apologize. We have a lot of protests going on here. So for the noise. This is a slow movement of this. This is getting change in Russia is going to take a while. Trying to get the movement going, trying to communicate with support overseas. He's lost his ability to communicate with people. He's greatly restricted. He wanted to go in and face the music knowing that what he wants is he wants a trial, he says. He wants a public trial, and rather than a private trial. That's what I'm hearing. He was communicating with the West. They're accusing him of communicating or working with the West because you can see the Western cards. You can see communicating overseas, global involvement, lovers. So they're basically accusing him of sedition. They're basically accusing him of taking funds or money from the West or from foreign opposition in order to overthrow Russia. So there's now... they're accusing him of what we see. It's a similar kind of He's entering into magician mode. He's got lawyers. He's got lawyers that understand Russian law that are attempting to protect him, presenting his case. They're trying to get him released early on bail or something like that, with the Three of Pentacles moving in. The opposition feels that they have a strong case against him, his hope and fears, the leadership, the opposition, and then his final outcome, Six of Cups. He will be given, look, they want him to retire from politics. This is what they're saying, in exchange for a lesser sentence. You can see the Six of Cups coming in. The clarification for Navalny, that's his choice. You can give up politics, get a lesser sentence. If you leave politics, we won't kill you. Here's the offer. Hang it up. If he agrees to hang it up, if he agrees not to be politically doing certain things, he may get off. They may release him, but he has to get out of politics. There appears to be some kind of deal that Navalny could work out with a hanged man that allows him to continue to be an activist, but he has to it's like they're creating, it's like he has to obey existing laws. As long as he's not violating existing laws, he has not violated Russian law with peaceful protest, etc. So they're not totally silencing him in these cards. His lawyers could work it out that he does have a right to free speech, according to the new laws in Russia, but they want to work out some deal because it looks to me like this is a public relations disaster for him, to be quite honest, for Russia. Agree not to try and overthrow Putin and we'll let you go, and you can continue to protest for changes in Russia, but you can't threaten to overthrow the Russian government. That seems to be the deal. He's going to make some kind of a deal, but he's not going to stop being a activist. They're trying to seek the middle ground with him. My SEPT account alert, I was not able to put that much into my SEPT account because, but I am maximizing how much I put into the SEPT account, Bugs Bunny. I don't know. Maybe I did it wrong, Bugs Bunny, but I ended up paying a crap load of taxes. And you can't have an LLC if you're a doctor because it would protect you from, people have a right to sue you directly. If you're, so it's like, I'll figure it out. Gaia takes care of me. I got enough chocolate chip cookies, you know? All right. But yes, Whimsy, but then if you do your taxes better, it'll be more money for charity. That's true. All right. The next question was, will 45 run again? The future of 45. What do you think? What do you think about the topic? What do you think the future of 45 is going to be? Let's throw on it. This is a salon. Everyone has a right to an opinion. All right, the future of 45. Yes, it does, Gigi. I love blitzes too. Kiki's saying she loves blitzes. I love blitzes because it's fun. You just boom, boom, boom. You get in 5 minutes, boom, 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 another one, boom, boom, boom. So much fun. So I started taking the medicine for my allergies, and I would say it's about 80-90% effective. I mean, I still have to clean everything, but hopefully my cough is better today because today is the first Sunday where I've actually taken my medicine for my allergies. The doctor put me on a high dose, extra strength Allegra, and then we're going to keep the place clean until I decrease my sensitivities, and he's going to try and reduce it. So we'll see if it works. Extra strength Allegra. And also pseudoephedrine for the postnasal drip if I have to. Right now I'm on half a pseudoephedrine as well. Like I cut it in half. I don't want to take a full pseudoephedrine. Yeah, not cough. It helps, but my nose is still drip. I still have a reaction. I still have to like dust. You know, it's not a cure. All right, so 45. You guys were very creative, though. Some of your theories. Okay. Where he's at right now, he's completely confused. You know what's weird? Here's the crazy thing when you go into the energy of Donald Trump. The crazy about Donald Trump is that in his mind, he thinks that he's still the president of the United States. We're talking about possibly mental health problems that are progressing. If it's something like Lewy body dementia, if that's part of what I do think Ivanka knew this guy was losing his stuff, and I think she did. You know, he feels betrayed by her because he doesn't understand. He's got obvious cognitive decline now. He's not in his right mind. His karma card, I'm the president, right? This is the president's card. I'm not the president? No, you're not the president. But I'm the president. I did all these things because because I'm the president. The base of he's confused. 7 of Cups. This guy, too many drugs, too much bad food, very old. It goes back to the people say, well, he could choose that. No, the definition of insanity is that you don't have free choice. He has no free choice because he thinks he's the president and he's confused. But I'm the president. You know, and then your kid is crying because you're watching the slow decline. It's not just about her. I think she does love her father. She might not love us. She might not love anybody else. And it is very sad when you see a parent going through that. Sun, it can also be sundowning. When it starts to get dark, seniors will often have trouble with cognition. That's why if you have a senior in a position of power, a president or something like that, you want them to give a news conference before 4 p.m., 3 p.m., because by 4 p.m., it's going to be slurring words, cognition challenges, particularly if they're on medication of some type. The fact that the sun comes in the first house could also be an exposure risk. that this individual is at risk of some type of an exposure. The crossing card is multiple losses. You can see the Eight of Wands, which is a strife card, moving into the crossing. So a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of accusations, and he's completely in the clouds. I mean, that's the sad thing. By the time a lot of this stuff goes to trial, he may have such severe mental decline that what are you going to do with the guy? It's frustrating, right? What is above him? Conflicts. His lawyers are fighting. His kids are fighting. Nobody knows what to do with him. What do we do now? He's just kind of sitting there confused while people argue. This guy doesn't appear to completely understand how much trouble he's in, or even be able to take control over his business anymore the way he once did. He's very worried about his finances. You can see the Ace of Pentacles sitting in his third house, what he marinates in or what he sits in, which would suggest that this is somebody who's very concerned about their finances. The karma the situation that he comes out of or is leaving, angry, aggressive energy, raids, police, violent insurrection. That's kind of the energy he's coming out of. And it's leading to what? He has placed himself in a situation that he cannot get out of because of these previous acts. And we can see the conflict coming in, people exchanging ideas, fighting with him to try and help him with the situation. His current environment, in plain words, where he's at right now, he understands that things are over. On some level, he knows that his previous life is not, he doesn't have, it's over. His opposition, the war, walking away from a battle you cannot win, the hope and the fear, walking away again from something he built. The final outcome for Donald Trump, the Constitution wins. Here's the thing. They want to destroy Trumpism, but whether or not they're going to go after this guy as badly as we may want justice, the mental health and the mental decline of this individual makes me question whether in another 2-3 years he will even be able to sit any trial. If they delay until he's in a nursing home, what would be the point? And that seems to be what they're doing. Delay. But for now, he's not in his right mind. Yeah. I mean, it's starting to look like they need to take care of his mortality. They need to take care of his debts. They need to take care of his estate, because it's gotten to the point now where he simply lacks the cognitive skills. It's getting to a point where he lacks the cognitive skills to be able to even be in control of his life. Which is frustrating, because I know people want to see him in trial. They want to see some kind of justice. I just don't know with these cards if this person even has the mental wherewithal to do that. This looks like we could see a decline in his mental health and his capacities very rapidly now. Which is true with these kinds of degenerative diseases. They can often, the older we get, they can begin to advance very rapidly. All right, any questions about that? Well, his kids wanted him tested. The doctors wanted to test him. They did want to do more neurological imaging. One of the reasons I think he checked himself out of the hospital quickly is because he was concerned about the direction that the testing was headed in. They were, I mean, if you're going to get Article 25 and you can show evidence, you need to get evidence. And the only way you can get evidence is if when the guy is there in the hospital, you start running tests to find out if you're dealing with cognitive decline. Okay, so the next question, and it will probably be the last, is how the Senate will be able to do a power share between Mitch McConnell and the Democrats headed by Schumer. Sound good? There are so many questions, but we're going to look at the Senate next. Thank you, everybody who came today. Thank you for the donations. I do have to go slip out and buy another thing of coffee, too, by the way, so I appreciate that. And thank you, everybody who clicked the like and the subscribe and the bell notification. It's all appreciated. And thank you for the pretty designs as well. The Senate. It's a beautiful Sunday. Oh, thank you. I try to give good brunches, and I try to have everybody be at the brunch. Because this is the only socializing some of us get for the whole. Don't you miss your brunches with your girlfriends and your boyfriends? And Tawny and I used to have brunch every Sunday. My friend Tawny, she and I were serious brunchers. Cash Peters and I have gone to brunch. Brunch is a really great way to just connect with friends, have a good meal, and talk the stuff, and so I love spending my brunches with you, and I'm glad that you have decided to spend your brunches with me. So, the Senate energy is a very interesting thing to look at, and we will. Thank you kindly. Someone was kind enough to give a donation. Michelle Maybell. Yes, and the filibuster. So the thing about the filibuster is that I think we're going to get rid of it. But let's take a look at the Senate. People don't want to filibuster. They're freaking starving. Debating whether I should stay after this, since there's so many good questions and we're at 1,200 people. Part of me thinks I should stay. Okay, the Senate. The Senate is strong. So the Senate is coming together. The Senate is strong. There's this feeling that the personal attacks, what about what you Dems did? That's just, people are so sick of this. Well, what aboutism? Well, what about you? What about you? What about you? That's got nothing to do with creating bills. So there's now this feeling that we just have to pass the bills and stop with it doesn't help the American people. Yeah, you made a cute joke or cry libs, all this back and forth. Do your damn. Can you imagine going to work and acting like that? Your boss would fire you. Well, I don't like human resources. Well, yeah, well, we don't like the tech people. Yeah. I mean, you don't run a business like that. Do your damn job. So there is this feeling going into the Senate of chariots. So things are moving, right? Moving very quickly. And the karma card is strength. So I would say that the majority of the people in the Senate, they're honest. They may be looking at the problems from a different perspective, but I do think the fact that this energy is swift, 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 the fact that it's strong would lead me to suspect that we're probably going to do away with the filibuster fairly quickly. People are thinking beyond. They're thinking in terms of the next 3 months, the next couple of months, getting through into spring. The battle, the fighting. Look, we're at war with a virus. We're at war on a lot of different fronts. We need to stop fighting and save the damn country. So there's a 5 of swords coming in, dropping the sword, cooperating, being strong, working quick. There's plenty of time to disagree and do this after we come out of this disaster. New partnerships, new foundations coming in the Senate. Also dual sharing. There is still a feeling like people will not compromise. Some of that's good because we don't want to compromise with fascism, anti-Semitism, etc. So there are certain things you just can't compromise on. We can't compromise with seditionists, right? So there's still that 2 of swords energy there. Things we will compromise on, but there are things that simply, ethically, it's not an option. You can't negotiate with terrorists, right? We have already won the war to some extent. Our past placement is the Magician, and we're entering into Knight of Pentacles. Things could go slow. It's in the 6th house, so they could try and slow down or stop or attempt to create a filibuster. The current situation in the Senate, Ace of Wands, again, new beginnings. The opposition to the Dems, stressed out, they're afraid of giving up power and control. The hope and the fear that it will be the devastation ahead. The final outcome for the Senate, defensiveness, people defending their own territories. It could be that some people are under criminal investigation or will have to attempt to justify their behavior under the previous administration. 9 of Wands is feeling cornered, fear of jail. It can be a prison card. So we could actually be seeing people in the Senate facing expulsion and being forced to leave. So people are facing jail in the Senate. People are facing expulsion in the Senate. There's a healing coming on to the Senate. But the Queen of Wands is Yehudi. She seeks justice, absolute. She holds the staff of authority with an Ace of Wands moving in. That's going to be Kamala Harris because she's the 51st vote. There's no middle way here. People that broke the law have to leave the Senate. I think they're going to expel maybe 3 people at least. Holly will probably get expelled. Cruz will probably be expelled. Even though Cruz always figures out ways to get out of things. I think Lindsey Graham probably should be expelled as well or be given the honor of resigning. These cards would suggest that some people actually broke the law, that they're going to be clean up, and that there are going to be consequences. The Senate will move on into a positive direction, but people should know that there are members of Congress, members of the Senate that took money, took bribes on both sides of the aisle, and that Kamala Harris doesn't play favorites. And neither does Adam Schiff and the other people that are concerned about justice, corruption, etc. If you took money, if you're compromised, you're gone. This is cleanup. She's the bad cop. You know, Biden's the good cop. I'll be a bad cop to your good cop. We're going to make you look great, Joe. It's okay. I'll be your heavy. I'm your heavy. I'm going to give you shade. I'll protect you. I'm going to go out and get these people. You just keep being your wonderful Joe Biden self. So that's the arrangement. Good cop, bad cop. I think it's going to work very well. But I got to tell you, with those cards, you saw them. If you were part of the insurrection, you will be removed and very possibly face prosecution afterwards. This is not a game that they're playing. She's the perfect person to be the 51st vote. Okay, so we've gone on for 2 hours and 19 minutes. We have 1,167 people here. I could stay and or I could go. So you can vote by writing stay, or you can vote by saying let's close it out. So close or stay. So let's go ahead and take a vote right now. Stay, close. Okay, so people want me to stay and keep doing, because I've got nothing to do today. I was supposed to go, you know how I usually close it after an hour and a half because I have to get to the PO box, but it's just too rainy. So I'm going to, okay, y'all, I don't get anyone asking me to close. Okay, I'm going to stay. We'll stay. Thank you. Thank you. I will stay. I will stay with you. Dang, I didn't expect. Oh, one person says close. So if you want to close, you can go ahead and close now. I'll see you next week. If you want to watch the rest of the video, you closed out at 2:20, so you can just push ahead to watch the rest of the video after 2:20. But I'm going to keep going because we got 1,158 people here. Sound good? So for those of you who had to leave, I love you. I appreciate you. I'm glad you could have brunch with me. I'm sorry you didn't get to try my homemade granola. Would anyone like to see the homemade granola during the bathroom break? I got to show off my homemade granola, and then we'll do another round of blitzes and encore. Does that sound good? But look at those ice cream cone things that Sandra Martinez created for me. They're awfully pretty. Pee break is cool. Yeah, I'll stay. I'll hang. I got nothing to do. I can look at Bruno. Can I show you my granola, though? Because I want to show people how to do this. This is what you do when you're in quarantine. Let me go. I'm going to show you what I did. Okay, so this is homemade granola. And so what I did, if you want to do this to yourself, if you've got any extra oats because you've been storing extra oats, etc., and you're like, man, I got to start eating all this stuff from storage, you take the oats, you can put in a little bit of oil, like I have an organic canola oil. I put a little bit of that in just to soften it a little bit. And then I put in brown sugar, cinnamon, coconut flakes, raisins, and chopped nuts. And then I bake it and turn it at about 400 degrees slowly. And then you get, after about 20, 15 minutes, you get granola. But what's so fun about making your own granola is that when you break it up, once you've baked it, it comes out in chunks, like, granola chunks, because it's been baked in. So when you take this and you put it in your because it's just baked so nice. So when I put it in a box or whatever, it's gonna crumble, and it tastes great from the coconut, the cinnamon, etc. So there's a little project you can do. Check the temperature. If some people go low, if you want it more crunchy and to slow cook, you can go lower 350. If you want it to be a little dark on the top and soft, just play with it. The second thing I did was I created homemade brownies. Now I was going to do a marshmallow top for you and serve them for our brunch, but I just ended up eating them like this. I did the remote views last night, and then I ate 4 of them. So this is our brunch. No dressing. And then I have granola for later. So I know everybody likes to share what they're having for brunch, but these are this is basically, I had one of these for brunch, and I'm going to have that. It's fun to share our brunches, right? All right, so we're going to continue on. If everybody had a chance to use the restroom, it's 2 hours and 24 minutes, 25 minutes approximately in, and we're going to go ahead and continue with the blitzes. The next question we had to do with the future of Lauren Boebert. It's very, I love chocolate cake. I love chocolate brownies. I love all of that stuff. I did reduce the sugar in the brownies, and I prefer that. So it's like a sweet bread rather than super, super sweet. Let me just tag the question because people prefer that. Okay, let's take a look. Lauren Boebert. All right, what's going on with Rep. Boebert right now is that she is hunkering down, doing her work. She's been advised to just put her nose down, stay out of trouble. She's working. And she's also got the Page of Cups. She's been advised to acknowledge this president. You can see some of the GOP members that are in trouble, that are under investigation because they objected, are now coming out and saying, well, now we recognize. That's because they don't want to be kicked out or prosecuted or something like that. The fact that there's a healing card coming in, the fact that this is an expert card, would also lead me to suspect that she's been advised to try and make nice and to hunker down and do her job. She's defending against multiple allegations. Again, you can see the 7 of Wands in the first house for Lauren Boebert and the scholarship card. So again, this is somebody who's simply trying to hunker down, do their job, keep themselves out of trouble. There's a light bulb over her. In plain words, she's already activated too much concern. This goes back to the remote viewings we've done where there would be forensic investigations into the Republican Party with the permission of the Republican Party to weed out potential domestic terrorists that had used and taken over resources from the RNC in order to basically overthrow the American government. So they're in a lot of trouble, and you can see the High Priestess moving in. Which is to bear light, or to bear the light and to get to expose something. She feels for the time being that she's going to be okay. I mean, it could be naivety, but she seems to feel confident that she can move past the situation. She has a 10 of Pentacles there, so she feels that she was placed there by her people, by her constituents. There is a 2 of Cups there, so she may be trying to reach across the aisle, if I'm not meaning with other Democrats, but with other Republicans who are more moderate. Her time could be coming. I don't know if, look, they may let her serve out one term, but with a Wheel of Fortune in the 7th house, it could be that her time there is limited. Her opposition is grieving because 5 people are dead, and because they've got to deal with her. People literally are fearing for their safety. You can see the opposition is in a state of grief. The hope and the fear for her, Lady Justice. The final outcome for her, the Fool takes a leap of faith. I have to find out what that's about. The clarification, moving on, heartbreak. She's going to be asked by her constituents to leave, which breaks her heart because she really wanted to be there. She's going to be given an opportunity to leave. There it is. I see her crying and having a temper tantrum because she's basically being asked to leave the party. She's the drunk blonde. It's that kind of an energy. Sorry, no blonde jokes. She's not a blonde anyway, but that kind of the drunk sorority girl who has to be told that she's making a fool of herself and that somebody needs to drive her home. It's that kind of, but I really like the party. I really want to say, I know you like the party. I know you're having fun, but unfortunately it's midnight, Cinderella, and it's time to go. I think she's going to have to leave, particularly with a high priestess in the 4th house, which would indicate that she's exposure. The fact that she's got this in her 7th house, time running out, heartbreak. I don't see her completing her term. Yeah, that's right. She's going to have to take her Chardonnay and her guns and go home. It's not going to help them with the GOP and the impeachment thing because too much evidence of an insurrection is going to come out. So they can deny to their heart's content, but there is no future of the Republican Party if they keep it moving on this direction, because young people want nothing to do with this. So people asked about Mike Pompeo. I'm still trying to figure out just I'm just curious to see I'm just like where they go from here. But let's look at Pompeo. Well, he's definitely moving on. Look at this. His karma card, walking away from what he built, and then the Chariot card. Yeesh. Trying to heal the situation. So he was trying to cooperate with the transition into the State Department, being all friendly and nice. He did try to make nicey, but there's also feeling like they were trying to block information or access. It's over. You can see the Death card here, trying to heal the situation, moving away, walking away from something that he had previously built. What is above him, his international relationships, the relationships he built as part of the State Department, what it sits in. and that Biden is inheriting. In plain words, Biden is inheriting the policies of the former State Department, the fact that they're coming out of the former administration, his future, increasing conflicts. So there's a feeling here that Europe, etc., is still angry and bruised or in a state of conflict because of whatever policies. You can see the conflict on the global stage because of this individual, because of whatever this individual promoted. His first house, it's over. The Queen of Swords puts her back to the past. Her opposition, her in opposition. The battle is lost, leaving the battle. The hope and the fear, the finances, the financial future. The FBI will be investigating. It all goes back to the forensics. We've talked about the forensics that are going into the GOP. The forensics are going into the Republican Party. The FBI is following the money. Who took the money? Taking the money for campaigns, taking the money in order to dismantle the U.S. or policies that strengthen the U.S. or policies that strengthen the U.S. abroad. And the clarification for this individual, again, juggling coins, something about juggling loyalties too, torn between two, like torn between two eighth house lovers. You like when I do that trick? Pull the cards before I pull the cards. Hopes and fears. Balance, temperance, not having an aggressive response. The FBI is hiding secrets, the family. Secret investigations or things that happened regarding policy that are under wraps, what they inherited. I don't see a future with this individual. He has really harmed his future prospects with these cards. And he is under FBI investigation. All right, let's open the floor to questions. Anybody surprised? God, everybody's leaving. I was surprised by Christopher Ray. Oh my God. I personally could not psychologically handle that level of stress. You know, I would be a complete wackadoo, you know. But that's just me. I mean, that's just me being me. Who here is like really strong and could totally handle a lunch with, who here could handle doing lunch with Vice President Harris? Who here would be like munching their salad? And, hey! I don't know. I guess if you've got nothing to hide, it would be cool. I think it would be scary to have her as a stepmom. Did you clean your room? Oh, yeah. Really? You cleaned it? Oh, you know, kind of move things around a little bit, right? The USDA. Okay, we'll see about that. We're going to do Merrick Garland next because that was the request. Dream of a lifetime. Of course, I would like to be with, have lunch with her. So you have lunch with her. Oh, where are you studying? Oh, you're becoming a lawyer. You're going to be. That's wonderful. How are your grades? You're really working as hard as you guys. I could see even a loyal person being like, "Yes, Mama, I'm about my business." She's so strong. She is. She's a strong lady. Okay, Merrick Garland. Best VP in the world. That's right. They love her because she's a straight shooter. She doesn't play games. And a mosquito's funny. Terrified. Yeah, because it's just human. You're just like, and I don't know how to lie. I live in someone that's like, I try, but I'm not very good at it. It's whimsy. Yes, I was supposed to send the greeting cards, but last night I got into the Nicole Kidman TV show and I ate too many brownies. I admit it. You're like, I would just be confessing everything. I would be, yeah. Okay. God, this is fun today. I don't want to leave. We're going on 2.5 hours. I don't want to go. It's too much fun. All right. It's a lot of work. When you go into Merrick Garland's energy, it's a lot of work. There's a lot of transitioning going over between his department, the new department that he's bringing in, and the old department. So there's a lot of mess that moving out the old, bringing in the new. You can see the base of the matter, 10 of Wands, Merrick Garland. He's got so much work. What it looks like happened under the previous administration was they delayed or blocked or put on the shelf multiple serious lawsuits or investigations. And now when Merrick Garland comes in, he's got to take all of that stuff and organize it. This is all the work that did not get done. He took the job. The other guy leaves. Right? The other guy loses the battle. He takes the leap of faith. His issue coming in, he wants to clean up his goal with his new team is he wants to revamp the department, work smarter, not harder. He's revamping it over a 6-month period. He really wants a clean, well-organized department. He wants to get there within 6 months. You can see the victory card, and it's a 6-month card. What he sits in, trying to be balanced. He is a little bit of an idealist. That could work against him with a Queen of Cups in the 3rd house. He needs more of a backbone. So I really hope he'll be working really closely with people who have like strong backbones. I can see him having a weekly lunch with Kamala Harris with these types of cards. He's on her side, but yeah, I can see her having a regular lunches with the AG. The past placement here, he had strife with the department, etc. And then he's entering into the time of the Queen of Wands leadership. Where he's at right now, thinking of cleaning up the department. It does look like a mess. 3 of Wands is a wish card. In a way, he kind of got his wish, but it's also about creating new foundations. New opportunities. It can also be waiting for your ship to come in, so it can be, it can have some aspects of our standing in the world or our relationships outside the United States. The hopes and fears, the former administration. This is Bill Barr's card, by the way, and then the final outcome. He emerges victorious. He'll have a strong department. Yeah. It's going to be in really good shape within a year. Am I in a personal relationship? Like, am I dating? I am dating, but I'm dating, like, I'm an open book. I am dating. There's a couple guys I like, but I'm doing it through Zoom, and yeah. You know, it's the Zoom dating. See, I always go for guys that are wrong for me. And there's this guy right now I really like, but he's totally wrong for me. So I need to stop focusing on that. I need to focus on guys that are more, you know. Otherwise, you're going to get in with some guy who's totally sees the world differently than you, and then you're going to become the control freak trying to change him. And that's not good. Oh, I think they will, Michelle. I think we're going to find out a lot of stuff. All right, I'm going to call it a day. I think I'm kind of burned out now. We've been reading for 2 hours and 44 minutes. Thank you, everybody who decided to come in and hang with me. Thank you, everybody, for the donations. Thank you for the good questions. Okay. Oh, hold on. We'll do one more last, and then I'm closing it because somebody had asked about the USDA, and I actually do think that that's a good question because of the whole COVID. And one more question that I have to go. All right, USDA. This was fun. Well, I think when we looked at the Senate, they were going to all have to be expelled because they're really cleaning house. Those people can't stay because they don't support the federal government. All right, USDA. Okay, it's a bit of a mess because it's almost like delay was this policy. This administration just ignored certain things. That's kind of what it looks like. Confusion, things that were waiting to be done that didn't get done. It's like stacked up work, things they didn't want to do. Contracts, employees that didn't happen. It's nice. There's an Empress card moving in right now, which would suggest that whoever is going into the USDA is probably going to get the support that they need. What is above them? Karma card. What I'm seeing here when you go into this energy is always that Biden has a 100-day plan, and he also has like a 6-month plan for these agencies to get it together. Star card coming in. And then Lady Justice. So yeah, if data had been suppressed, which if you recall last year, I was asked to do a remote viewing and to see if I could access documents about suppressing data about PPE on workers, etc. We did quite an extensive RV on that. And the conclusion I had was that they were deliberately suppressing data, putting people's lives at risk, including the fact that animals can catch coronavirus and spread it, this version of coronavirus. So that's kind of where we find ourselves now, in the sense that the leaks have come out and we're finding that that is precisely what they did. The lives of the workers meant nothing. It was a joke. Their lives were not as valuable. They didn't perceive of the workers as having lives worth fighting for. That's the unfortunate truth about this, where they're under very serious investigation by the AG. You can see the 7th house is the prison card, jail, multiple lawsuits, cornered, trying to defend yourself. This is bad. If you are the person that, look at the 4th house, if you're the person, who they've just broken open your documents and found all this stuff that not only you were doing, but who is their opposition? The feds. The hope and the fear. They were also trying to cut costs and working in ways to be cost effective to make money, help their friends make money, but it could have compromised or put other people's lives at risk because it's about juggling coin, questionable money, moving money. They were probably trying to save money or something like that. You have a new guy coming in, the King of Swords, the Ice King. It's also the military card. It can be a police card. So I think that until they get things right in this department, we're going to start seeing, and then a new person comes in over the USDA and more financial aid. They're not going to be quite as frugal as they were in the past. And then the experts come in. Yeah, I mean they're being audited just like every other department. They've got about 6 months to get their act together. It looks like new people are coming in, and people could actually go to jail though with a 9 of Wands. There could actually be cases of prosecution with cards like that. Wow! Did you all have fun? I had a blast. All right. Thank you, everyone who came, showed support. Thank you, everyone, for the donations. I'm going to call it a day. If you're still trying to get in for a reading, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com and be sure and check out Fridays. I'll put a note up if you want to join us for the remote view. All right. Thanks, everyone. Love and light. We'll see you next time. Thank you.